Hey, how you doing? Steve, the amateur historian, walking in my old digs. The Oak Grove area. Where the hell did all that come from? That wasn't here when I was young. Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting things, a lot of nostalgia, and a lot of unfortunate things. Like I just saw that the house I lived in from 2004 to 2009 has been frickin' demolished. But this is kind of an additional piece to go along with that video, which is me kind of just walking through where I spent almost to this point half my life living, a pretty significant chunk of my life, and it was my school years when I started going to college, all of that. And I wanted to do this while I was here, and it certainly ties into that, or else I wouldn't say it was a tie-in. But I mean, so much of that video that I'm going to post is about me seeing like this and being like, I have this memory of that. Hey, I hung out here. Very much focused on stuff I did. But I also wanted to, because it's changed so much since the early 90s, wanted to go up to the main drag, which is dangerous because I could end up seeing either someone from my church or possibly my father. But you know what? I came prepared. No one's gonna notice me. Oh, hello, kitty. And with this, even better. What the frick? So anyway, the plan is to, God, there's like gunk on my glasses. I haven't worn these in so long. From my younger, moved here in the early 90s, and so much changes, as I've seen, but I really wanted to get some video up along the main drag, kind of in the general vicinity around where Oak Grove Boulevard and McLoughlin meet. Because so much has changed there, and I want to go through, and because I enjoy seeing videos like that other people do, so my hope is you'll enjoy seeing me do the same thing. I want to show these spots, these locations, and talk about what they used to be, or what used to be there. So let's do it. Oh my God, this old phone is dying so quickly. But hey, let's start. First things first, I'm on the back side of it. This is Mod Pizza, but this was Lou's Drive-In. Not, quite a while ago. Lou's didn't close, at least unless it has recently due to COVID or whatever, but it relocated to Estacada. And this was like just a little fast food eatery. Now it's a Mod's. That big public storage building way off there, that's effing new. There was like a par lumber there, and that was just kind of open. So now that's just towering over the back landscape. So that's kind of, I don't know if I love that. Fire station's always been here. I believe when I was a kid, this was a gas station, but a Jack in the Box now. But I'm pretty sure there was a gas station at this corner. So the businesses over here across the street where the On Point is, that building's been here a while, but I'm pretty sure there was different. In fact, I think the On Point was like the Portland Teachers Credit Union, and there's a Domino's there. This Plaid Pantry's been here forever. It's one of the few things that hasn't changed. This Dollar Tree, I don't know where the F that came from. I was shocked a couple weeks ago when I went down to Oregon City with my girlfriend and saw that was there. But this public storage place up here just dominating is so weird to me, because there was nothing over there. There was a par lumber, that was it. Fred Meyer's has been here forever. Been altered, but been here forever. I'm gonna take my glasses. I'll put my glasses back on, because I do not want to bump into anybody. You know what I mean? Okay, there we go. We're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, there's a Dollar Tree here. forever. It closed when I was a little kid. Building sat here vacant for years. There was an IHOP right here. Went there once with a friend in like 1993. It closed shortly after. Building sat here vacant forever. So when you wonder where the Oak Grove IHOP used to be, generally where this Dollar Tree is now. There's a Voodoo Donuts, or unless it's Voodoo Donut. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's in relation to the major franchise. These haven't changed. These businesses with the red boards over them, Tomorrow Cleaners, Barbershop, that hasn't changed. But the Voodoo Donuts, this was a combination. Well, it wasn't a combination, but they were both here. There was a Pizza Schmitza, and then on the outside there was a Starbucks. So Voodoo Donuts literally, okay, never mind. I guess the Starbucks is just across the street now. Wait, so that means like the Starbucks ran off the Black Rock. This was a Black Rock like 2 years ago. And this Popeyes used to be a KFC, which makes about as much sense as anything in the world. And this adult video place has always been here, but this is like the best it's ever looked. Yeah, so they just, there's the Wells Fargo I used to always go to. Yeah, this is a pop, but yeah, this is where the Black Rock was. They just, oh no, I was wrong, there's the Black Rock. Okay, Black Rock is safe. So wait, what was here then? There was something here. Look at all this space. I don't know what was there. But, I mean, that's really all there is to see going this way, because it's historically kind of the same that way. But yeah, so that's just the beginning. I want to start going back this direction, start seeing more stuff. All right, back on the, well, I went to Plaid Pantry real quick, so it feels like I took a break from vlogging. It's like, I need to get some energy drinks, and I know these small stores are good for giving you flavors. And you know, like, dude, your truck is loud. Yeah, so anyway, that 7-Eleven's always been there. That Key Bank's always been there. This building over here that kind of looks like an apartment kind of has like a succession of random businesses running out of it. Like, there's obviously a tattoo business running out of it, but there was like a card business running out of it. I used to get on the bus here. Yeah, here's the Mod Pizza from the other side. And then here's, this is kind of like the main, whatever they call them, where it's like, it's not really a strip mall, but it's just kind of a place where there's a lot of businesses. Because a lot of these have changed or stayed the same, as I see the Great Clips and Subway over here, which those have both been there forever. This Bank of America, as far as I can remember, has been here. As far as I can remember. This was a Baxter's Auto Parts forever. Now it's an O'Reilly's. And there's a place called Side Quest Games. I'm pretty sure that's where the CD Game Exchange was, that I went to all the time. But yeah, so the bank's here, and then there's a Panda Express in the same complex. And for the life of me, I can't remember what was in here. I'm pretty sure there's always been eateries to some degree in this part. This has pretty much always been the same. I just don't know. But here, now there's a lot of history to this Verizon bill. Fucking Verizon, I hate Verizon. But yeah, it's a Verizon place now. It was a Comcast place for a long time. However, when I first moved here, this was a Dunkin' Donuts, which is massive because as far as I can tell, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't even exist here anymore. There's a Clackamas Federal Credit Union here. That's interesting. And here, this building has been vacant for a really long time. This is the main place that my parents, well, my mom, when I say my parents, this is where all of the grocery shopping got done, because this was a Safeway. But they closed it, and I heard the reason they closed it was because there was like too many Safeways within like a certain stretch of land or something. Because there's like, you go up over the horizon, there's a Safeway on Thiessen, there's one in Gladstone right down the street. So I think the reason this one got closed was just because they weren't allowed to have so many Safeways in a certain area. It doesn't sound like it would be right, but I don't know the system. I don't know the reasons. I just know that that's what I was told. But this was the Safeway, the place for shopping when I grew up, and it's been vacant for a couple of years. I wonder, it looks like some work's been done in there. It says construction zone, so I'm guessing they're figuring out friggin' something to do with this place. So T-Mobile used to be a Domino's, and get your nostalgia hats ready, where this Smile Keepers and Five Guys are. This was Blockbuster, where we always went to check out movies. Oh, Blockbuster, I freaking miss you. I think it was here late enough that like you can find some Google imagery on it, but I miss you, Blockbuster. I'm glad I got to see the last one that exists while I was in Bend. It's visiting Sun River a while ago. And there's Burger King. It's been renovated, but it's always been Burger King. And here's another piece of nostalgia for me, at least. This Napa Auto Parts, which I want to say was a color tile for a while. Hey, that rhymed. But this place was called, I think it was just called the Ice Cream Factory. It had a very generic name. And it was like a knockoff Baskin Robbins, where they had just a bunch of ice cream flavors, and you had this little area where you got your ice cream and ate it, and then the whole other part of the building was a miniature golf course. It was awesome, and it closed down when I was like still really young. And the All That Glitters, that was a McDonald's. There's still a drive-through window on the other side of the building because of that. But yeah, man, I miss the frickin', I think it was just called the Ice Cream Factory or something like that. It had a very just simple, not really moving anywhere kind of name. And it's a frickin' auto parts place now. Breaks them a heart. And there's not really a whole lot more down here that hasn't kind of stayed the same, or at least hasn't been the same for a long time. There's the Grove, where I used to sometimes go with my mom and my stepdad, but don't anymore because they can't really afford it and I don't want to be around my stepdad. But this was, I forget what it was called, but this was a pizza place, and they made these pizzas that were like the size of a Buick. They were huge, and I don't remember what it was called. Imperial Garden up over here, up in the distance here, that was me and my parents' primary go-to place for Chinese food. The U.S. Bank. This U.S. Bank has been here for eons, and I only remember that because this is where my parents used to bank. So they always went to this particular one to put in money or withdraw money. And I never understood as a kid why we came here, because I didn't get banks. I just knew that we would pull up to this building and my parents would stick an envelope into a machine and then we'd drive away. And it never made sense to me. Alright, so we got a Walmart neighborhood market. So it's like a Walmart if it's for like just like food. And that is where the G.I. Joe's was once upon a time, before the bulk of those went the way of the dodo. And then the next light up here is Concord. And there's a few changes that have happened up there. And just for a place of reference, I'm discussing mostly, when I say this was here, that was there, I'm discussing mostly what was here in the 90s, specifically. So it is a callback to a much more simpler time in life. But yeah, so when I say this used to be that, obviously a lot of these places were that long before the 90s, but I'm talking about the time when I first moved here and was really coming of age, which was the 90s, considering I was 15 by the time the new millennium started. So I'm giving you very much a 90s viewpoint of everything. All right, a little bit closer to Concord now, because there's, just for frame of reference, there's the Walmart former G.I. Joe's, and this little building here, this Comic Adventures place, this is where CD Game Exchange was before it was at the spot I pointed out just a couple blocks up that way. This is where it was before then. So it's kind of maintaining that whole like comic book kid DVD media thing. Oh my god. Don't walk out on the street. Okay, he's not walking out on the street. A guy just stepped out. He's on another planet. He walked out and he was just like, duh, but duh, duh, duh. I'm like, okay. Whatever bounces your ball. Alright, so you see there's like this business here. There's the Cricket, the Starbucks. That used to just be an empty parking lot a few years back. So this was just all parking. And GG's, this closed during the pandemic. This had been here forever. And it's just been kind of sitting here, as far as I know, empty, unless they open it up and I didn't hear about it. But as far as I know, it's closed down. Courtesy of COVID. So I just crossed McLoughlin, which may have been a bad idea. I don't know. I'm kind of now feeling like I should have crossed so I could get up in here, but Harbor Freight and Grocery Outlet, they both share the space up here. That was an Albertsons when I was young. See, this is where they relocated the McDonald's. That used to be up where the whatever the jeweler's place was. But they built another one down here. And this is Rigoberto's. Delicious. But you might notice by the appearance of it, this is an original Taco Bell, like an old school Taco Bell. You'll notice it looks exactly like it, but no, if you're ever in this area, go to Rigoberto's, because their food is second to none. And yeah, I'm kind of getting back to an area where things kind of haven't changed all that much, so I mean, I've covered several blocks, so it's definitely a good amount of space. And it's kind of obstructed by the McDonald's, but there's the Ultra Zone up here. The Aaron's over there used to be a True Value. Big Lots, I don't have the slightest clue what that used to be. And then of course we have the old Oak Grove Cinema. Right, I'm gonna try to stop for a second. Beautiful, it's a really old theater and it looks really rustic on the inside. I love the Oak Grove 8. And I think it was closed for a long time and they opened it back up not too long ago. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful, rustic. And then there's the Ultra Zone right up there. That's been there since... It wasn't there when I first moved here, but it's been here pretty much since I was still fairly young. I remember going there with my friend Jason. And then later on with my friend Darren. God, I haven't seen Darren since... Well, I haven't seen him since probably the last time we went laser tagging together, which would have been like 2006, 2007. There's just a bunch of stuff. And I know like there's a bunch of little business spaces here that I'm sure have changed over time, but they're kind of nondescript and I don't really have any real memory of what any of them were like. So your guess is as good as mine in terms of what some of these places are. I know that there's a bankruptcy place back in here. That's the only thing I remember is a bankruptcy place back in here. And then up there, there's the present day Taco Bell, where the Rigoberto's is. When Taco Bell left that OG one, it moved right up there. Oh, the number of times. That's where I learned to really love Taco Bell, was by going to that one. So you see, usually when a popular fast food place relocates, it just moves a couple blocks south. It's really that simple. And then I'm coming up to Vineyard, and that's kind of where the oddities really kind of slow down. By the way, when I was a kid, never in my wildest dreams ever thought Vineyard, this crossing road up here, would ever need a traffic light. It was such an inconsequential crossing street. I never thought it would happen. So, a lot of stuff looks the same, but a lot of things, as happens in life, have changed. Well, I'm trying to get to a bus stop to go home. I'm pretty much at the end of my day. And now I'm way down on the border at Gladstone, around Glen Echo, and Glen Echo and McLoughlin. And yeah, this Cars Planet, this used to be a very popular restaurant that finally the owners just were ready to shut it down, called Togo's. T-O-G-O, Togo's. A restaurant I always wanted to go to, my parents always promised me, and it never happened. I think another thing that kind of happened was it kind of just became kind of an old person's place to go to, and gradually those old people started, well, passing away. So business kind of slunk. But yeah, there was like little signs that said Togo's, and it just looked like a real kind of cool but quirky place to go eat. And it was here forever. It was here when I was a kid, but it closed a few years back and got replaced by this crap 2013 automatic. Who are you trying to kid? So anyway, yeah, just one last little addition that I wasn't expecting on getting, because I didn't really know how far south I was going to get. So definitely much further south from where I was earlier, but a place that definitely ties into my youth, even though I never went there and it's not in the same place as all the other stuff. But I just wanted to do this as a fun little addendum to my video about going back home, hanging out in Oak Grove, a place where, you know, a significant part of my life occurred, but was a little kind of outside of what I was focusing on for that specific video. So this is just kind of a little extra to want to go with that. So you're welcome. Don't say I never did anything for you. And all that said, I'd like to thank you as always for stopping by. Remember, if you haven't done it yet or you're new to the channel, remember to like, share, subscribe. Help my channel keep growing a little bit by little bit. Hit up my Patreon as well if you want to help me out there. It makes doing what I do a lot easier. And the link to that is in the description with this video, as well as the link to my Facebook, my Instagram, and a Reddit subreddit page. So all that said, I'm in like a noise tunnel here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. This has been Steve, the Amateur Historian.